Well, what advice would you give for others looking to join Actualize?
Yeah, so I've got a quote that I'm going to start with, and it's don't just try to fit in, try to show up.
Welcome to Actualizing Success. In this podcast series, our in-house advisors discuss today's finance and technology topics with an emphasis on solutions that embrace tomorrow.
Hi, I am Kerry, Wekelo, COO of Actualize Consulting, and today I have with us Kate Walker, who's in our UK office. So this is really special podcast for me because one of my favorite things of working with Actualize over the last 21 years is to have people come back. Like they were at Actualize, they decided to leave, and then they end up coming back to Actualize. So welcome back, Kate. I'm super happy that you're back with us. You're already making such a big difference, just jumping right back in. So that's amazing. And the reason I had the idea for this podcast is because of one of the posts that you had on LinkedIn. And I'm going to read what you wrote, which actually made like my entire year. So it says, when I previously worked at a company with a gratitude-driven culture, I didn't realize its true impact. I thought it was just a nice to have. I'm so grateful and excited to have the opportunity to return to work there. And now I see how professional kindness, respect, and awareness builds trust, connection, and empowers people to bring their best. Leadership is rooted in gratitude. It is in fact discipline, and it transforms both people and business. Wow. Like, I think that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said about Actualize. So thank you for that. So what made you come back? Like, what's the number one reason?
Yeah, so I'm going to try and do this without welling up into tears. So yeah, Actualize is a really special place for me. And as you said, Kerry, one of the reasons I came back is for the culture, but also the people. I think when I was at Actualize, I was at a place where I probably took for granted how special environment Actualize is. And you always think, oh, the grass is greener, or I'm going to move on. When I was previously at the firm, I actually started the firm just after losing my dad suddenly. And it brought me here because I wanted to have a challenge. I'd never done consulting. But what I didn't appreciate was all the challenges personally that it brought with me. And when I was at Actualize, I loved it. But I got to a point personally where I was in this phase of running away. I lacked confidence. I wasn't sure of my path. And my mum always says, you can't see the forest for the trees. So I obviously left. But over the years while I was working in other roles, so I had some great roles and opportunities, I started bumping into people at Actualize in the UK team at various events. And I got to see Chad and Priscilla at the sales and marketing kickoff for Kariba. And every time I saw somebody from the firm, the memories came rushing back. And it wasn't just the professional respect, but it was always that genuine feeling of home. It's like I'd never been away. And like I say, I saw Chad and Priscilla at sales and marketing kickoff, and I was looking to move because I wanted to get back into consulting because I love working with customers. And when I saw them, it was that just made me that eureka moment. It was like, I need to go back to Actualize. And I'm returning as I'm still the same person, hence why I've changed my name. So I'm no longer Katie, I'm Kate, but I'm not running away anymore. And I've come back to a place where I know I can thrive. I've got stability, I can build my skills, and there is so many opportunities, and obviously the culture as well. So that's why I came back.
No, very good. And I remember after Chad saw you at that conference, he was like, I think Kate wants to come back. And he's like, what do you think about that? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So then I kind of reached out to you after that, and it didn't take very long for you to make the decision and come back. So I guess what sets Actualize apart from other positions that you have had while you kind of were exploring your career?
Yeah. So as I've explored my career, many people know I've been in corporate, I've been in the tech world. Most of the roles I've had have always focused on the surface and the just what and how of the daily grind. And it's all about hitting numbers, checking boxes, and often it could feel a little bit empty, like I wanted to offer more, but I couldn't see where. with Actualize, the big focus isn't just on the surface and the what and how, but it's also on the who. It's the first place that I've sort of worked in a long time where I feel like I've got a real purpose. Everything we do is intentional, and everything we do is designed to help us grow. So again, we do things like internal initiatives. We have the opportunity to get involved in business development, in marketing, and it's that gives this sense of steadiness and community. So we've all got our little roles, we all excel in things, and we all support each other. It always encourages me to show up and be my best. And it just gives this real path of personal growth because of the way the firm is. And, you know, we've got Chad still here. You've got this real entrepreneurial culture where it's like, I give you the tools, you've got the projects, the clients, the work, the support. You go off now and make it what you want. You can make your role what you want it to be. And that is something that is amazing. And that is something that makes Actualize so special, that no one person is the same. Every person is different in their aspirations, in what they do. So yeah, that is really, you know, something I've realized exploring my career.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for me, it's very gratifying to allow people, you know, I learned really early in this that you can't push people to do things that don't align with their and that's what we use, like in the goal setting, we call it aspirations, right? It's like, what are your aspirations? And you know, I love that you're saying that, because it brings me a lot of joy to see people thrive and really figure out, you know, how they can make their own mark. And, you know, even though we've been around since 2003, we are still very entrepreneurial. And it is, you know, if you have an idea, like, we're going to give you a chance to, and that just makes the firm better, continuously better. And because I think the way I look at it is we're treating our firm like we're consulting our own firm. Do you know what I mean? To continue to make it better. Like, we're using our consulting skills that we already have to continuously improve things internally. So that's exciting for me as well. So, well, what advice would you give for others looking to join Actualize?
Yeah, so I've got a quote that I'm going to start with, and it's, don't just try to fit in, try to show up. So what I've noticed at Actualize is the people that stay and succeed aren't necessarily the ones that follow like sets of rules. They all bring their own authentic selves to the table every day, and they approach opportunities with a desire to grow. So rather than it being career ladder, like I need to do this and do this, it's very much like, you know, what opportunities have we have? What can we do? What can I do within these opportunities? And for me, working at Actualize, I mean, you spend most of your life at work, you know, and I've touched on my daughter's 16, I tell her this, like, you need to pick a job you love, and you need to pick a job that you can show up and be yourself in. Because if you don't, you're just going to end up, you know, on that daily grind. You're going to move from role to role. And that's why I always say about Actualize, when people ask me, why have you go back? I'm like, it's not a career move, it's a life move. You know, it's something that I can see so much potential in, you know, and so many opportunities where you can go to work. You know, I don't know what I'm going to be doing Actualize in the next 5 years. There will be certain things we'll always do as part of consulting, but there's so many new things on the horizon, so many things like, and that is definitely, so somebody that's looking to join Actualize, if you're after like a job where it's like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, it's not the job for you. If you want a job where you can grow, you can flourish, you can, you know, find new passions, it is the place for you.
When you said that about like leaving your career, and then now you're saying coming, you know, leaving Actualize and then coming back, and when you said it was like a life move, I mean, I had that same epiphany back in 2010. Like, I literally was going to leave Actualize. Like, I was like, it's just too much. Like, I had 2 kids within 5 years, and I was just like, it's too much. But I was trying to be somebody different at work than personally. And when I had that epiphany of like, I just got to show up the same way everywhere, it makes it so much easier. Like, so I think this is like a life lesson for people. You have to be able to be you. You can't really separate because you are who you are, right? And so, yes, very good life lesson, Kate. I appreciate that.
And for those that don't know me as well, so I am a very, I don't know, different character maybe. I'm maybe not like textbook what you'd imagine. But again, it's being yourself. You know, you can do the job and be yourself. You don't have to be. And I find it easier to be myself than to try and, like you say, Kerry, be somebody that I'm not.
Yeah.
It just comes more naturally. You're more authentic, and you can just, it's just less tiring.
Absolutely. You save a lot of time and energy, right?
Yes, exactly. A lot of time and energy.
All right. Well, one more question. What would you tell your younger self?
So what I would tell my younger self is, so I was a very introvert as a child, very shy.
You were shy?
I was really shy. I was mute until I went to infant school. So I was not mute, I was selective mutism. So I would only speak to people that I knew and I really trusted. But my mum and dad put me into sport, and sport, again, for those who got kids, sport is a massive like driver to, it brought me out my shell, and it taught me to be brave. Like, even when you feel small, don't give up. Like, or when you feel things aren't going right, don't give up. And I say this a lot to my friends now. So I've had like a lot of changes in my life, and what I've learned is that life isn't a textbook with checklists or perfect answers. Like, nobody's life is perfect. Nobody has like a life plan. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, the environments are going to shift. And I sort of see it now as you go through chapters in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the most important thing is, we talk about life and everything, but what we need to remember is the people in life. So people will naturally come and go. That's just the nature of life. So what's important is that you're creating memories, but you create them when out, and then when people leave, is you hold on to the memories, but you don't lose yourself when they leave. Just because somebody leaves doesn't mean, you know, you're a bad person, and believe in your own strength. And remember, and this is one thing I really struggled with, and I'm getting a lot better with, is remember that people around you are there to support and help you.
Absolutely.
All you have to do is ask. There is more bravery in asking somebody for help than burying your head in the sand and pretending everything's going to be like sorted. Just because asking for help isn't a weakness, it's a bigger strength. And then really to sort of go back to our point earlier is, stay true to yourself. It's your life. What may be right for you isn't right for somebody else. And just because you might not fit in somewhere doesn't mean like you need to be there. You can move on. As long as you are true to yourself and stay exactly who you are, then that's what you should be proud of. Because in this day in life, in careers and in life, it's so hard, especially with social media. It's so hard to just be you.
Yeah.
And I tell my daughter this, I tell myself this, I tell my friends this. They'll be having bad times or whatever, I've done this, and I'll say, I'm proud of you for doing that, because you may have gone against the grain. So my daughter's not going to do A levels, so she's doing GCSE. She's going to do a BTEC advanced. People have said to me, oh, but she should be doing A levels. I've said to Madison, I am proud that you have chosen to do a BTEC advanced in sport and coaching and not go down the academic A level route. I am proud that you've made that choice for you, and you haven't made a choice for somebody else. So that's what I would tell my younger self is, if I could go back now, like, it would be, you know, but we learn. And what I hope is my younger self doesn't exist, but I have my younger self and my daughter. And also my younger self sits out there in the people I meet. So even if they're not younger than me, there's people I meet out there that just still have these like little bits of, you know, little bits just to inspire, or, you know, just to help people through.
Absolutely. And you know what's something really interesting is there's a lot of people like either graduating for college or high school in my world right now. And my cards that I write to them, I always say, be true to yourself. So I think those are words to live by is just be true to yourself. Life will be a lot easier. So, Kate, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. I really appreciate your honesty and being willing to do this, and excited to see what's going to come in the next years with you at Actualize.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Actualizing Success. Make sure to visit us online at www.actualizeconsulting.com, where you can explore our service offerings. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or your preferred platform. If you've enjoyed what we talked about today, please consider leaving a review and following us on LinkedIn. If you have any questions or would like to share your opinions with us, please send us a note at podcast@actualizeconsulting.com. We look forward to hearing from you.